The primary villain for Georgie and Mandy's first marriage has officially been confirmed before it even premieres. Young Sheldon ended back in May 2024, but Chuck Lorre is continuing the Cooper's story in Texas, even without Sheldon. As the boy genius moved to California, the rest of his family was left back at home to deal with the aftermath of the changes in the final. For Georgie and Mandy, that involves moving forward with their life as the young parents of baby Cease in their own spin-off series. It's proof of just how popular they were in Young Sheldon. As a sitcom, there are technically no villains in the Big Bang Theory franchise. Instead, the show's conflicts tend to stem from situations, motivating the lead characters to band together for success. That was the case in the nerd-centric sitcom, and was also true for most of Young Sheldon, until it became clear that the church was driving the Coopers apart. Still, the prequel didn't explicitly paint Pastor Jeff's congregation as the bad guys. Things are quite different, however, in the CBS sequel spin-off, Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage, as new details about the show effectively pinpoint its main villain. Audrey is confirmed to be Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage villain. Montana Jordan reveals that Audrey will continue to be difficult, picking up a month or two after George's unexpected death in Young Sheldon. Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage will see the titular couple living with the McAllisters as they work to raise their kid. The Big Bang Theory prequel already showed glimpses of what the new show's cast dynamic will be like, although there are still some expected changes as it transitions to a multi-cam setup. A new comment from series lead Montana Jordan, via TV Insider, however, confirms that one thing will remain the same. Audrey McAllister will continue to be antagonistic towards Georgie. Read his quote below. Played by Rachel Bay Jones, Mandy's mother wasn't a warm character when she was introduced. Before she made her first appearance in Young Sheldon with her husband, Will Sasso's Jim McAllister, the prequel already established her image as a harsh and judgmental kind of mother. Upon learning about her unexpected pregnancy, Mandy was kicked out by her parents, forcing her to work as she struggled in her first trimester. It was then that Mimo stepped up and offered help to her and Georgie. Once Cease was born, however, Audrey mellowed down on her daughter but remained harsh on her husband. Why Audrey didn't like Georgie in Young Sheldon? Audrey doesn't think Georgie is worthy of Mandy. While she has already forgiven Mandy, primarily because she's afraid that she won't have access to her granddaughter, Audrey continues to be antagonistic to Georgie, something that won't change in Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage. In Young Sheldon, Mary's tendency to be self-centered and judgmental stemmed from her misplaced faith. Once she separated herself from the congregation, she became much more agreeable to George and the rest of the family. Her religion is also important to Mandy's mother, but unlike Mary, her negative characteristics aren't fueled by it. Instead, she is just naturally inclined to be snooty and self-aggrandizing. While she has already forgiven Mandy, primarily because she's afraid that she won't have access to her granddaughter, Audrey continues to be antagonistic to Georgie, something that won't change in Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage. George and Mary's firstborn was always considered an underdog. Despite that, he remains committed to doing the work and being a good person, especially after learning that he was about to become a father. Despite these traits, Audrey has belittled and looked down on him every time she has had the chance. She regularly brings up that he dropped out of high school and didn't have a job after Mimo gambling room closed. Despite this, Georgie continues to be optimistic that in time, he will be able to win Mandy's mom. Whether that's in the cards is currently unknown. How Audrey can shape Georgie and Mandy's future past, the Young Sheldon sequel. Audrey is determined to make Mandy realize that she's too good for Georgie. Sadly, the Big Bang Theory canon mandates that Georgie and Mandy will eventually break up. The Young Sheldon sequel's title effectively backs up this, although specifics on when and why are still being tightly kept under wraps. That said, it isn't outside the realm of possibility that the couple will eventually be driven apart by Audrey, who has promised to make her daughter realize just how undeserving Georgie is of her. No information about their expected reconciliation was revealed in The Big Bang Theory. But if Audrey really is the reason for their divorce, the TV franchise can redeem her by also being the bridge that leads to their reconciliation.